As we all know, Jaguars training camp began last Wednesday, so we are going to, in this video, get into all different types of training camp battles to really keep your eyes on as this training camp goes on, and as the Jaguars get pads on, and the Jaguars in a couple weeks have a joint practice in Jacksonville against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course we have three different preseason games. And right before your eyes, you're going to really see all different kinds of competitions go on, whether it be for a starting role or a backup role or like end of the roster role, all different types of stuff for you guys to keep your eyes on. Now, real quick, guys, as you guys see, I'm rocking some throwback gear. At the very end, I did purchase some stuff, so I'll kind of show you guys a little bit of a haul that I'll show at the very end of it. Spent a pretty penny on it, but guys, this stuff is just way too fresh not to get. Don't mind me if I wear this fit in every single video going forward, but I won't. But with all that said, let's get into some training camp battles. Now, first one is going to be the QB2 spot. Now, one thing that we don't know is that are the Jaguars going to keep two quarterbacks or are they going to keep three quarterbacks? And right now the competition for QB2 at the very least is going to be CJ Beathard, who's been with the Jaguars. This will be his fourth year with the Jaguars. Man, it's been a long time since he's been on the Jaguars. And also, the Jaguars traded for New England Patriots quarterback Mac Jones during the offseason. They spent the sixth rounder on him. So Mac Jones is in camp right now. Now, with Mac Jones, he hasn't been really having the best camp, and honestly, neither is really Trevor Lawrence. But, Mac Jones is a guy that I'm going to be really looking at during the preseason because it feels like the Jaguars last year didn't really trust CJ Beathard very much, which was a big reason why they kept trotting Trevor Lawrence out there when Trevor Lawrence was hurt. But I think that they want to give Mac Jones all the opportunity to be able to get that QB2 spot. Now, is it a situation where the Jaguars are going to keep two quarterbacks or three quarterbacks? We'll just have to see, but I really think that once you get your pads on and once training camp really heats up, that QB2 spot is really going to be up for grabs. And the loser of that competition very well might not even be on the roster. And it could be a situation where, the Jaguars cut Mac Jones. There's a very real chance that he's going to be picked up very easy by another team. But it feels like if you cut a CJ Beathard, I'm not sure how many teams are going to be lining up to get a CJ Beathard. Now, you guys might say the same thing about Mac Jones, but all it takes is one team to want to bring in Mac Jones, and they got Mac Jones. If the Jaguars want to try to stash on a practice squad. But it doesn't feel like with a CJ Beathard that he is going to really be out there, teams trying to scoop him up. But at the same time, Trevor Lawrence does love CJ Beathard, but he's in his fourth year. I'm not sure how much he really needs that veteran around, especially when Mac Jones has a lot of playing experience too. So the QB2 spot is one that's fascinating to me. Now, another one is the RB2, and I wasn't really going to mention really an RB2 competition until, on Club Jaguar last Wednesday, Jordan DeLugo spoke really highly of Keelan Robinson. And also Jason really thinks that the RB2 spot might be won by Keelan Robinson. Now, for me, this competition really, they're going to give Tank every opportunity. And I have a feeling that during the preseason, we're going to be seeing so much of Tank Bigsby. And a big reason for that is that Tank Bigsby was a third-round pick. And Tank Bigsby last year just wasn't really to be trusted with the ball. He was causing a lot of turnovers, and he never really felt comfortable. And for that reason, I think that Tank Bigsby might get 20-plus carries in each of the preseason games. I really do believe that because I think that they drafted him with a role in mind, and he wasn't able to do that role in 2023. And I really do think in 2024, not only to make a Trent Baalke look better, but there's something that the Jaguars see there. And I do think that they think that he can be a change of pace from a Travis Etienne. Me personally, I think that RB2 from now until the end of time should be filled with a veteran because you bring in, like, Dearness Johnson filled that role great. The year prior, I thought JaMycal Hasty filled that role pretty good. And I always think that with my RB2, I just want a guy that's experienced, a guy that's had plenty of carries, and a guy that can go in there. He can run the ball or he can pick up blitzes very well. I just think for me, I want a veteran there. But the Jaguars, the way that roster is currently constructed, they want Tank Bigsby to be the RB2, and they want Tank Bigsby to be able to, spell Travis Etienne when they need to. So they're going to give him every opportunity to do that. Now, next up is wide receiver 6. So right now, as it currently stands, there's 4 roster locks. That wide receiver, there's Christian Kirk, there's Gabe Davis, there's Brian Thomas Jr., and there's Devin Duvernay. Now, for me personally, I think that Parker Washington will definitely be the wide receiver 5. He'll be the 5th wide receiver on the roster. I mean, he has special teams ability, but on top of that, I just think he's a good receiver. I mean, I saw a lot from him when it comes to making tough catches, in 2023 after Christian Kirk went down, to where you got to say, okay, we got to keep this guy around, not just for special teams ability, but I think he could be a pretty good wide receiver. So Parker Washington, I think, is going to be on the team, but the next wide receiver 6 spot is going to be tough. And generally, teams keep 6 wide receivers. Last year, the Jaguars actually kept 7, but of course, if you keep 7, you're going to have to, eliminate another spot. And last year, the Jaguars pretty much kept 3 tight ends on the roster the whole time. I'm not sure with now. It seems like the tight end group is a little bit deeper, but we'll just see. So the competition is really going to be between Elijah Cooks and Tim Jones. Those are 2 guys that were on the Jaguars in 2023. Also, Denzel Mims is a guy that was pretty highly drafted by the Jets that the Jaguars have here in training camp. He's a big body. He's got a lot of upside, so we'll see with that one. Another guy, Seth Williams, has been with the Jaguars for a little bit of time, just kind of practice squatting it. And also a Joshua Cephas, an undrafted rookie free agent who has quite a bit of upside. And the Jaguars, if there's any position that they're good at finding undrafted players at, it's been wide receiver. You can go all along the lines of, Allen Hurns to a Keelan Cole, and, obviously Tim Jones and Elijah Cooks were both undrafted players as well. So could Joshua Cephas be the next guy? We'll just see. So that's one that, really in the preseason, we're going to be able to see a lot of action from. Now, next up, I'm not sure how much of a competition this is, but just where does Walker Little end up? Okay, is Walker Little in a true competition at left tackle? I know a lot of people are going to say it, but are we really expecting Cam Robinson to be backup left tackle week 1? I know me, when I put my realistic cap on, my realistic throwback cap on, I'm saying that Cam Robinson, that's his spot. Because he's been with the Jaguars since 2017. He's making a lot of money. I just don't see the Jaguars benching him. So I think that's his spot. But Walker Little, is he the next man up at left guard? Like, if there were a situation where Ezra Cleveland were to get injured, who's the next man up? Are they going to throw Tyler Shatley there? Or is a Walker Little going to be the next man up? I have a feeling it's going to be Walker Little. Also, is Walker Little the swing tackle as well? If Anton Harrison goes down, is Walker Little going in there at right tackle? I don't know. But I think really where Walker Little ends up, is he the backup left tackle, the backup left guard, and the backup right tackle? We'll just have to see. I just have a feeling that he is the next best man at no matter probably what position on the offensive line. So we'll see what there. And obviously there's more competition at depth for the offensive line, but I don't really feel like going into those names because, quite frankly, it doesn't really interest me that much. We'll just see who makes it, and that's who we're going to go with going forward. Next up is going to be starting cornerback. Now, this is one where, look, we have that, Tyson Campbell is obviously a lock at one of the cornerback spots, at one of the outside spots, but we have a Darnell Savage, who the Jaguars signed in free agency, who is going to play slot cornerback, and he is making enough money to where it looks like he will be a starter. But also the Jaguars have Ronald Darby, who's going to play outside cornerback. Now, while he isn't making as much money as a Darnell Savage, he is, he's a stopgap starter at cornerback. But then we also have a Jarius Jones, who is going to be interesting to see, because, he's got a lot of hype around him. He's got a lot of energy, and he's having a really good, off season when it comes to rookie minicamp, veteran minicamp, and all-to training camp. He's been a guy that's been flashing a lot. So can he be a guy that earns a starting spot? If he starts, will it be over a Darnell Savage at slot? Is there any outside shot that he actually starts at outside cornerback? I don't know. But when it comes to week 1, will he be a starter, or is he more likely going to be a starter in week 7, week 8, week 9 once the season goes on a little bit? We'll just have to see. But that's one where I'm kind of curious about. And while we're on cornerback, I think backup cornerback is one to discuss too. Look, we've seen Monteric Brown play a little bit. He struggled his rookie year, but actually played, I thought, pretty decently last year for the Jaguars when he needed to fill in for Tyson Campbell. Had a really good game against New Orleans when they were trying to pick on him with Tyson Campbell being out, but Monteric Brown really held his own. There's also Christian Braswell, who looks to finally be healthy. Gregory Jr., who had a good training camp last year, but struggled a little bit during the regular season. And also Deontay Prince, who the Jaguars drafted in, I think, the 5th or 6th round, who's the Jaguars really liked all offseason. I mean, they had pro day visits, they had top 30 visits. They were all over this guy, and they wound up drafting him. And I think that Deontay Prince, to me, will probably be a lock to be on the roster, but and he's also ultra athletic. So we'll see what backup cornerback who winds up making it. But I actually have a good feeling about both our cornerbacks and our cornerback depth because a lot of potential here. Now, finally, we'll go to special teams. We have Cam Little versus Riley Patterson. So Cam Little is obviously probably going to win. Riley Patterson definitely has his weak points, and especially when it comes to kicking from 50-plus yards. And Cam Little has actually been really good at training camp. So, but that's one to continue to watch, especially during the preseason when we have when there's live action, and I don't know how they'll divvy it up. If Cam Little gets the first kick, then Riley Patterson gets the second one. If they'll switch off like that, maybe a guy gets the whole entire game. Maybe they get halves. We'll see. But I think Cam Little will most definitely be a starter. So, yeah, those are different training camp battles. And look, guys, my big baby this year has been Club Jaguar, which is going to feature every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you guys haven't heard about it, subscribe to the channel, keep your notifications on, put an alarm on your phone to set off for 8:30. We have 2 recorded episodes, so if you haven't watched the last episode, definitely go back and check that out. Let me know what you think of the show, if there's any improvements that we can make, but it's going to be an awesome show live every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time with Jordan from Gen Jag as well as Jason from Jaguars United. It's a ton of fun, and I hope you guys will enjoy going forward. So yeah, as you guys can see, like I said, I got a couple different outfits here. It's funny because the Jaguars dropped their throwback stuff and it was pretty expensive, but I checked out my work rewards and it looked like I have a bunch of money I could redeem for the NFL shop. So I got myself this jersey right here. It's a $175 Trevor Lawrence jersey. Now, there's different options. I think there's a $100 jersey option, a $125 jersey option, and a $175. And I'm someone that usually I just like to get the best one because I don't purchase jerseys a lot. I only have 2 current jerseys, which is Josh Allen and Trevor Lawrence. I almost bought Evan Ingram, but I was just too scared. I want a guy with longevity. I would hate for Evan Ingram to only be on the Jaguars for 2 more years, and I'm kind of stuck with an old player. That's just kind of my own superstition. But with this one, the Jaguars on, the sleeves feel pretty nice. The numbers aren't like stitched on. It is like kind of a thicker iron. The next option is like a $350 jersey option, which I just that's not for me. As much as I can go up from 100 to 175, but 175 to 350, just no thanks. So I bought this one. I bought this Jaguar hat, and I bought a couple other Jaguar hats. I bought this one right here. It's a throwback with I find myself usually wearing hats like this. I like the neutral top when it comes to having like a black or white, and then I like the colored brim. I've kind of noticed, I don't really notice that if I'm in a shop kind of looking, but I notice the hats I lean toward generally usually are like the solid top with a colored bill. So I got, this throwback Jaguar one right here. And then I also got right here, I have the kind of the opposite. I don't usually wear as much as like the color with this flat one, but I just thought this one looked too good, with the long Jaguar. So I'll be featuring these in many videos, and these right here, these 2 are fitted, which I usually like fitted more, but this one I'm wearing right now is a snapback, but this is actually just turns out to be my favorite hat. I just think the gold really, really pops, and it's just a really, really good looking hat. So all in all this stuff cost me like, I think $325. I think actually it was $315, but yeah, pretty expensive stuff. But luckily I got it for free with my work rewards. Thank God. But yeah, I've got usually every year I make one big Jaguar, apparel haul. And it's usually made around this time of year, July, August, getting ready for the season. So yeah, Let me know what you guys think. And like I said, guys, check out Club Jaguar this Wednesday at 8:30. If you guys liked this video, please drop a like so we can get this video out to more people. And I hope you guys are just as excited as I am for this upcoming season, as we have preseason, I think like 2 weeks away is our first preseason game, 13 days away. So it's coming at us quick. So with all that said, really appreciate you guys all for watching, and go Jags.